After the controversial incident that took place in May, many people have been keeping an eye on the demise of George Floyd.
Let's see your other hand. Both hands.
Recently, a Minnesota judge demanded the release of the body cam footage of the officers that were involved in the incident.
Hand up there. Nice. Keep your hands on the wheel. Keep your hands on the wheel. Officers in the car.
This allows greater insight into the actual incident, and these officers are now being held on charge.
Man, I got shot the same way as I was before.
Okay, well, when I say let me see your hands, you put your hands up. You got them?
This footage will surely help in getting a verdict, whether that be guilty or not.
Man, somebody got shot like that.
Hands on top of your head. Hands on top of your head. Step out of the vehicle and step away from me, all right? Step out and face away. Step out and face away.
The most important thing is that George Floyd gets justice.
Step out and face away.
I'm gonna get out of here, man. Please don't shoot me, man. I just lost my mom, man.
Step out and face away. Step out and face away.
Please don't shoot this out. Please. Don't shoot, man.
Step out and face away. I'm not. Step out and face away.
Okay. Please, man. Please. I didn't know, man.
Get out of the car.
I didn't know, bro. I didn't know. Do nothing. Put your hands behind your back then. Do nothing. Face in the floor.
Get home.
Oh, hey, you come back. Stay in the car. Stop resisting that. Yes, you are. Ouch, man.
Are you on something right now?
I'm not, no, nothing. You acting all right.
Let's go.
Man.
Let's go.
Yes, I was just moving earlier.
Let's go.
All right, let me come on down now. This is a little better now.
Keep walking.
Okay, you got to do one favor, man.
No, we're going to get to the car. Let's go to the car.
Oh, man. God, oh, me, man. Please, man, please, man. I'm so lazy, man. I just unlocked the door for me. I did that. I'm claustrophobic, man. Stand up. I'm claustrophobic. Stay on your feet and face the car door. Leave the door open. Leave the door open. Man, you ain't listening to nothing we're saying, so we're not going to listen to nothing. I'm claustrophobic. Face the door. Take a seat. I'm going in. I'm going in. No, you're not. I got to go in. Take a seat. Man, y'all don't believe me. Take a seat. I'm not the kind of guy, man. Take a seat. Y'all, I'm a Take a seat. Man. You need to take a seat right now. And I just had COVID, man. I don't want to go back to that.
Okay, I'll roll the windows down. Hey, listen.
Hey, man.
Listen.
I'm not that kind of guy.
I'll roll the windows down
Please,
and put your legs in, all right?
Y'all,
Put the air on.
look at that. Look at that.
Now you're listening.
Look at it.
We can fix it, but not while you're standing out.
Okay, man. God, y'all do me bad, man. Man, I don't want to try to win. I don't want to win. I'm claustrophobic. I got anxiety. I don't want to do nothing to them.
I'll roll the window down.
Man, I'm scared, man.
Take them out. Just
For what?
come on.
Man.
Hey, come on out. Yeah, just when you get up
On the ground.
I appreciate that. I do.
Got your oh my God. I can't believe this. I can't believe this, man. Mama, I love you. Please, I love you.
You got hobble?
My kids, I love you.
2 other people with
Please,
them.
I can't breathe. Please, man. Please, somebody.
You got it?
I cannot breathe.
To ride with? Yeah, you just CPR. All right. You want me doing just impressions? Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm sorry, that video, that was my first time seeing that particular video. So I don't know how you all could watch that without getting emotional. I don't care whether you're Black, white, or Hispanic. In the beginning, a lot of people were just trying to justify the death of George Floyd by saying he was resisting arrest. We just watched the entire video from when they first encountered that man. He was never resisting arrest. He was terrified. And I don't know if any of you all know what it feels like to be claustrophobic. It is a scary feeling. We've had people be claustrophobic, and those officers lack compassion. They did not care about him. And then to know that one of the officers knew him and worked with him, and for them to treat him that way is sickening. I never knew. I knew that he called out his mother's name, but that man knew he was about to die because he also called out his children's name. And to some of you white people, and I'm not being disrespectful because I'm not racist, but the ones of y'all that have been being racist, talking about, oh, no, Candace. This is directed straight for you, Miss Candace. You said that man is not a martyr because he has a felony. You don't judge him by his past. His past should have never cost him his life. And I'm calling you out. Come have a sit down with Officer Jones. I want to have a sit down with you. At first I said you wasn't worth my time, but I'm ready. Have a sit down with me. Let's have a conversation. I apologize, y'all. This is just a really emotional show. Let me go back before we go any further and introduce my co-host, Jocelyn Hurt, Rachel Hill, and Heidi Nichols.
Hey, babe.
I'm sick.
I said give it to him.
I'm
I
sick.
said give it to him.
I am sick. I'm just really sick. I am so sick and tired of even hearing us as African Americans keep justifying the death of Black women and Black men because they're not complying with the police. That's some bull. That is not what we're taught in the academy. What we're taught in the academy is you can use deadly force if the threat of serious physical harm is imminent right then and there, or the threat of death. That's when we, not because somebody doesn't comply. If that's the case, we can shoot everybody. Nobody wants to comply with the police. No disrespect intended. And it's not on the community to do what we say. It's on us to act and conduct ourselves in a higher standard to make sure that we are explaining to the community, this is why we're telling you this. I'm not saying that deadly force is not justifiable, just like I'm not saying that every white officer is bad. But what I am saying is lack of training and all this cowboy wild west that they're allowing us to keep on going on in the police departments. Enough is a damn enough. And I'm calling out these chiefs because you know who in your house. You already know who in your house. It's wrong. These mayors, if y'all got this going on in y'all city, this continue, get them damn mayors out of office. Get them out of there. That just don't make no kind of sense. And then you got good officers that's taking the heat because of some of these bad officers. Some of us black officers have been called Uncle Tom. They have no idea the fire we go through behind the blue door. Nobody don't know what it's like to be a black officer. That shit is painful, especially when you good. It's painful to go out there and say we risking our life for you and we in our communities making a difference. It's painful. It is. And we can't do it alone. We need the community to back us too. But y'all need to get up and vote. 2020, if you don't vote, don't you come back on my page. And I'm serious. Y'all need to get out here and vote and get some people in leadership that act like leaders, that care about us. They say Black Lives Matter. Does it? Do it really matter? I don't think our lives matter even to us sometimes. I'm just irritated. I'm sorry.
All right, well,
they're irritated.
Let's talk about what our topic is for tonight. So what we want to do tonight, in light of the fact that Jacob Blake was just shot 7 times by officers, we have discussed numerous times on this platform that there are training issues, tactical issues. They're not using the appropriate tactics. And so today what we intend to do is to show you 3 examples where officers use the appropriate tactics. The person that they were involving was white, that they were involved in, and watch the way that they handle that. And then we're going to watch what happened to Jacob Blake and see what the difference is. I'm sure everybody knows, but let's watch it. We're gonna watch all 3 back to back. That way we can see, and then we'll come back. So you go right on ahead, Kai.
Just bear with me a little bit today, please. Oh, this is the wrong one. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Hold on. I apologize. Y'all give me 1 second because y'all really need to watch this, especially people that keep saying they were justified to kill him because of resisting arrest. Just remember those words, please. And I have law enforcement on here too. A lot of Black law enforcement. You all want you to chime in, please. I want y'all to see this what resisting arrest really looks like and how it can be handled. Okay, oh Lord Jesus. That's George Floyd. This is it. Let me make this bigger. So you guys can see.
Use the cars to cover. Use the cars to cover. I've been fucking idiot, mate. Come on. Get on the fucking ground now! Get on the fucking ground! Hit him! Lock the door! Lock the door! Keep going! Drop the door! Put it down now! Listen to me! Drop the fucking knife down! Drop it! Put it down! Put the fucking knife down! Drop the knife! Drop the fucking knife down! Can't you get it? Drop the knife! Drop the knife! Drop the fucking knife!
Like, let me get him. I ran him over.
Ain't that something? He looked like he was resisting arrest to me, and he had a weapon on him. I'm not even done yet. I'm not even done.
Towards the officers in an aggressive manner.
In an aggressive manner with a knife. I just want to make sure that everybody's paying attention to these videos that we're showing tonight. Okay, wait a minute. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. Let me pause this. I want to make sure everybody is paying. I want to show y'all more than one. Hold on 1 second. I think it's this one. No, is it? I think this is it. I hope this is it, y'all. If it's not, y'all give me a second.
But y'all see how that
Yeah.
cop, the one that hit him, ran out the car?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna get him.
Pick him up. Pick him up.
Can y'all see that?
Yep.
Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Oh my God, what happened? I'm not going to tell you this.
Oh, you're still.
Stop resisting. Okay. Stop resisting.
I drive a truck and I put that shit
Tried to walk out with a car full of shit on my ear still.
The restraint is just breathtaking.
I just got the stuff right here.
Want to get it? You're going to get it again. Place your hand behind your back. Keep the fucking cat here. Put your hand. Go look behind his back. Again. Put your hand behind your back. Again, bro.
Okay.
Now, goddammit. Place your hand. Place your hand behind your back. You'll come out of that smoke. Okay. We're going to get it again. What? I've ordered you numerous times. What? Place your hand behind your back. Place your hand behind your back. Good.
Why are you making it worse for yourself, man? Just put your hand behind your back.
You're not afraid. Place your hand behind your back.
Not even reaching for his weapon.
Oh, he was reaching for it.
It's just to the extent of which he's not killing him.
Right.
And I think just that is enough for just that one, but we're gonna go to this one. I think this is unbelievable. So I want everybody to see this because I'm sick of y'all talking about resisting arrest. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Click
Make
to
it
expand.
bigger.
Wait a minute, I'm saying click to expand, y'all. Give me a second. All right.
There you go. Rewind it a little bit, babe. Because it doesn't have any sound. This what Kai talking about when she talking about throw the hands.
Throwing the hands. Throw the hands, officer.
You see
He's
him?
throwing him. He ain't trying to shoot him. He could have said,
That's
I'm
right.
in fear for my life, because the man is fighting him like he was going with him.
Yeah.
And he got
I
back
enjoyed
up.
it.
That's it.
There you go. Then your backup came, tasered him, and now
And
it's
it's
him.
over.
I think he kind of enjoyed fighting though.
So,
It
The
kind of was
last-
like a bare knuckle thing, you know?
right. I
Yeah.
almost forgot the last one, y'all. And this one, y'all, I apologize for showing it. It's graphic and it's upsetting, but we need to see it. It is what it is.
You took him out the actual
Yes.
they show. Okay.
You ain't gonna show Jerry?
Oh, wait, I ain't
Oh,
seen Jerry on here.
Let's
Did
say
we-
Jerry, like, for the end. A little more.
Okay. Jerry is a little comical. There's a little
Jocelyn,
humor.
you sent what's his name to me, right? Yep, here it is right here.
Yeah.
Can you
separate.
guys see it? I mean, can you guys still see my screen?
Not me.
No, not yet.
Okay. So let me make sure I share it.
Here.
And y'all know we gonna send Jerry, save Jerry for last. Here it is.
I think I'm gonna have to resend you Jerry, but I'll do that while we watch it.
Let me,
Rachel and Jerry, man.
Yeah.
let me make it bigger.
Comical, but it
All
makes
right,
me
y'all
mad.
ready? Y'all ready?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
People are saying this was justifiable because he was resisting arrest.
Wow.
Okay, so we're gonna touch on these things. I have one question to ask to everybody out here. We're gonna put a poll up. Do you really believe that officers treat blacks the same way they treat whites? Do you believe that officers treat Hispanics the same way they treat whites? It seems as if that when they're dealing with whites, they're more compassionate. They'll risk their lives even more. But it seems with us, if we do one thing, the first thing they resort to is shooting us. Number one, I'm going to talk about Jacob Blake, first of all, and I know a lot of y'all might get upset. I don't want to hear about him being a rapist. I don't want to hear about him being domestic violence. If that's the case, we bring him to justice the way we're supposed to, in cuffs, and let a judge deal with it. We are not executioners and judges. So some of y'all African-American police officers that keep putting that mess up there, stop it. Stop doing that.
One thing has nothing to do with
One thing has nothing to do with another. You just seen the president of one of the unions, I want to say in New York, just was arrested for being a pedophile.
That's right.
Does he deserve to be shot like that? So
No.
stop it. What we supposed to be dealing with is what's going on at hand. And in my opinion, until I see a clear video, because the video I saw, I can't tell what the heck is going on in there. Until I see body cam, I'm going to still say it was not justifiable. And I do not believe that this man that was going to give his 4-year-old son a birthday party told the police officers, I'm going to my car to shoot y'all, when they had their guns out. That's just stupid. That doesn't make any sense. I don't believe that he would go and put his children in jeopardy or himself. Number two, those officers' tactics was way out of line. You don't point your gun in no area where some innocent people was. There was people all around. There was children around. Anything could have happened. And they look scary as hell. If you told me you was going to get a gun out your car, you ain't reaching that car. What happened to holster your weapon and throw them things? It's 3 officers there. Where was the 3rd officer? He should have went over there and blocked that door and made sure he couldn't even get to that door. The other 2 should have holstered their weapons and threw them things. Grab his ass and take him down. That's a
right.
rule, and y'all know it.
Unfortunately, we probably will never see body cam footage because that particular department does not wear body cams.
Now see, come on, y'all. Y'all know this some more. And I never saw a knife in that man's hand. When he was walking around the corner, he was pulling his pants up. So you mean to tell me he wanted to stab the police, but he's walking away? Come on, y'all. If it don't make sense, it's a lie.
The one picture that they show where it kind of looks like something is in his hands, it looks like sunglasses to me. Or keys.
So what they trying to do is taint the picture because they don't have no body cam by putting out his past history. How about we start digging up our officers' past history? Because some of us, our past history ain't all like all that peaches and cream either. Mm-hmm. Then I got a message in my message saying, well, you know that a lot of officers think that black men are a threat because of their voices.
Right. It's their voice that makes them seem dangerous and blah, blah, blah. What?
Voice. If you are
afraid of voice, you do not need to be wearing the uniform.
Period.
Because you're going to experience a whole lot more than a very strong voice.
No,
and my other opinion, and my other opinion is, why are you working in communities that you're afraid of the people? Mm-hmm. Because you already know all we got to say is, I was in fear for my life. You in fear for your life when you drive into our communities.
Yes.
So when they give you that power and that privilege and that gun behind you, that's a recipe for disaster. Sound like a terrorist to me.
Yeah.
How you gonna serve somebody you're afraid of?
Yeah.
How you gonna serve somebody that you don't respect? You look at us like we a piece of garbage or that we some kind of animals. We bleed just like you.
That's
we
right.
die just like you. We have children just like you. You are not superior to us. And even in that uniform, ain't no damn such a thing as no blue lives. It's no such a thing. Stop it.
Yeah.
Being
And
a police officer is a choice. Being black is not.
That's right. That post that you put up the other day where, hold on, I want to read it.
From Black Lives Mattering.
When they're talking about the blue lives and all that.
And you know what else? And I'm so, Heidi, and I'm not pointing you out. I'm so glad that we are so close because I know a lot of whites, and Heidi said it better. She was like, why would you be asking us what to do? What can we do to make it better? Just get involved. If some of y'all whites is watching this video and justifying it, your ass need to be ashamed of yourself too. And you need to take a look in the mirror because what would happen if black law enforcement officers start turning around and killing young white men like that? They would have an uprising. They would, do you understand what would happen?
Oh, yeah.
Now you got a white little young boy, 17 years old, go down because they protesting. They're angry. They hurt. They mad. They feel like they daggone if they do, they daggone if they don't. I am not promoting tearing up shit, but what are they supposed to do when it looks like nothing is happening? What do you expect them to do? They hurting.
That's right.
They hurting from both sides. Damn, the police killing them, they own killing them. What do they have to look forward to?
Racism is killing them by all statistical measures as well. And you brought up a great point about those police officers just had their guns out and you got men, other innocent people there, children and women. So that just showed that there was absolutely no regard for anyone's life out there when you have all those guns, pointed at people who are not.
Let me be clear. Let me be clear about the other videos we showed y'all. I don't know whether them police officers did not kill them because they were white, but what I will say is their tactics was on point. They tried to preserve life, so I commend them. That was not to show. I'm showing y'all that it can be done, but they don't do it when they're dealing with us, and it ain't right. It ain't right. If you're gonna treat us all the same. That's my problem.
Yeah, there's a video, I think I tagged y'all in it, and we probably might be one to show another day, but it was a black police officer and a white lady had some scissors, and, he gave her multiple commands to put the scissors down over and over again. And she, after a while, she lunged towards him with the scissors, and he shot her and killed her. And, you go on social media and you look at all these comments like, he shouldn't have shot her. He a punk. He should have shot her in the leg. She wasn't doing nothing. She had scissors. She had called him the N-word a couple times, threatened to kill him, and he's like, if you don't put him down, I'm going to shoot you. And, that privilege that she felt like she had, she lunged towards him. And people's like, scissors aren't a weapon. Plenty of people have been killed with scissors. I've watched investigations. Yeah.
If you can be stabbed with scissors.
So pretty much they did the same thing they did with every black person that's been killed, justify it, but this white lady shouldn't have been killed at all, is what they said. Even if she had a weapon in her hand.
Yeah. That's some bull. Number one, let me help some of my black law enforcement officers because I know how y'all feeling. Some of y'all still on the job. So let me educate the people. A knife and scissors can go through a police officer's vest. Stop being foolish. It can kill us.
Right.
A bullet can be stopped, but a knife will cut straight through them. So that's number one. Number two, they don't teach us to shoot in the leg. They teach you to shoot at the biggest part of the body because when you get stressed and you under anxiety, you lose almost 60% of your shooting abilities. Unless you a thorough shot, you ain't shooting nobody in the leg. They tell you to go to the biggest part. How many of y'all been to the range? Have y'all ever seen legs on the daggone range mannequin?
Never will. Never will.
But that's the reason why we're equipped with other things. Pepper spray, ass, a taser. Let me say something else about a taser. I'm sick of y'all keep talking about they tased him, it didn't work. Number one, did they really tase him? Because any officer on here that carries a taser will tell you the prongs have both got to hit the person unless they dry stun him. If it misses him, he is not going to react to it because he's not going to be shot by it. Right. So it don't mean that he was on drugs. Did the taser make contact?
Mm-hmm.
Period.
What's a dry stun?
Dry stun means when you see how the officer was touching him when he was, that means no more prongs in there. Once the prongs are gone, you have to reinsert them, but you can use the taser itself and shock them, but you have to be up close encounters with them.
Right. Right on top of them. So I'm glad that you brought that up about the you know, trying to shoot him in the leg or the arm. So sick of the people. If we got any of the people on IG, I've seen a lot of people on IG saying y'all could have shot him in the leg. You could have just did a flesh wound. It does not work that way.
It does not work that way.
It doesn't work that way. It's not. So if you take your gun out, that means that you are being prepared to either injure that person or kill them.
But I think
you either gonna do serious physical harm or death to that person. That's the reason why good officers don't just pull our guns out like it's a piece of food or something. Mm-hmm. We make sure anytime I've ever pulled my gun out was because I thought my life was in danger or somebody else's life was in danger of death or serious physical harm. If not, I threw these things. And I done took the L. And for some of y'all that's saying, you don't know you weren't in that position, I done took 4 knives off people and it ended well. I done been punched in the face by a male. I done fought with females and males and had to get loose. So don't tell me, you can't tell me nothing about it. I done fought with big dudes, jumped on their back and had to fight with the other guys. So don't tell me it can't be done. And I'm a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So don't tell me all this, they're resisting, they're not complying. Stop it. Especially us. Y'all giving white people or them white officers as well as them Godplex officers excuses to kill us. Stop it.
The question that needs to be addressed as well, him walking away. Let's talk about him walking away. Because I've gotten arguments with several people since this video has come out about him walking away. Well, you're not allowed to do that. He shouldn't have been walking away. If the officer said come back, just because he says come back doesn't mean I need to be shot. Mm-hmm. That I can walk away from you. Now, I'd like for you to expound on that because I need to know.
Number one, I don't know what the call was about. You know, a lot of people are saying he had a warrant for his arrest and all this other stuff. My question is, how did they know he had a warrant for his arrest unless they ran him? Because if the story is true that it was 2 females fighting, how the hell did they know who he was unless they already knew him anyway? That's the first question I have. So number one, if he didn't commit a crime or if they didn't have a probable cause, I ain't got to stop and talk to you. Every law enforcement officer knows we can't just walk into people like, come here. Come over here for what? You don't have the right to do that.
Right.
Why is that police officers we're above the law? But some of y'all black officers need to open your eyes because when you take that uniform off, you are still a black man and woman. Right. Come on, y'all. So he wouldn't have had to, but if an officer is asking you to comply with them, you can get in trouble for disobeying a lawful order. So if they had a reason to question and talk to this man, he should have stopped. But shooting him in the back, no. I'm not about to shoot you in the back just because you won't stop. I'm a grab you. You was walking away. Both of them officers, like I said, they could have tackled him, put him on the ground, put him in cuffs. But you were
scared. Want to. They wanted to kill him.
Right. Right.
And then you shoot him and his children are inside of that car. It's almost the same thing that happened with Philando Castile. And he told him, I have a gun, I have a CCW permit. The officer asked him, let me see your ID. When he reached to get it, the officer started firing in the car where the wife and the child was in the back. That's some coward ass shit. Excuse me. I apologize, y'all, because I don't. Please forgive me. Please forgive me, but I'm angry. I am tired, and I can feel the pain of some of these good officers that's saying we getting this bad rep because of some of y'all, and especially the good white officers. I couldn't imagine being a good white officer right now. How do you know? Who do you know is good?
Right.
You have no idea because that blue represents something disgusting.
Yeah.
But this is also where people need to start speaking up and stop being silent when they know that the bad things are happening. Because if we can't say in our populist rhetoric, silence equals compliance, that applies also to police. If you see it, say something. Start changing the standard. When you're talking about why not shoot them in the leg, that question gets asked when it's happening about white assailants or a white person that you're arresting. It's not about the black person. It's not why didn't they shoot. Nobody asked why didn't they shoot Jacob Blake in the leg. The first question was, why didn't they shoot this young white man in the leg? Why are we, so we need to start changing our rhetoric. If you're going to ask about shooting in the leg, and I saw that Joe had posted on here about, that's not even a part of the training. The training is about.
Thank you, Joe.
Right, but if you're going to ask it, make sure you're asking that about all black and brown bodies in addition to the white body.
But they don't care about that at all.
And how is this continue to go on when you have so many black? I couldn't imagine being a black officer right now, because I know they gotta feel like they behind enemy lines. They have to feel torn, because we all know there are bad people out there. We're not foolish. We know it's people out there that wants to be defiant towards the law. They want to rape, they want to murder, they want to kill, they want to tear.
Right.
We understand that, we get that, and we
Right.
try our best to bring those people to justice.
Right.
But what about when you got officers acting like thugs too?
Yeah.
Enough is enough. This time for these officers, listen, the way I'm feeling right now, if I was an officer, I'm in that mindset where I would tell another officer, take that uniform out and meet me outside. I'm very serious, because you're not gonna just keep killing us like that. That uniform, that gun make you feel like you God. You ain't God.
That's right.
And you tearing this profession up.
Stuff here. He said, so many of the shootings of unarmed black men are occurring because police officers appear to be afraid to go hands-on with a person. The use of deadly force with a firearm is only justified when the threat of deadly or great bodily harm to officers or others is imminent. Officers have several less than lethal force options to use when there is no imminent threat. But I see so many officers going directly to their firearm as if it's their only force of option. I can't tell you how many times I've had to reholster my firearm and go hands-on. Every law enforcement agency should be mandated to have a sanctity of life directive and hold officers accountable when the directive is violated and not in good faith. Oh, yes. Amen.
Amen. Who said that?
Sean Kennedy.
Sean Kennedy, I love you, bro, because everything he's saying is right. I have pulled my weapon and had to holster a few times, and we got to get loose. We got to get busy, but I'm not afraid of the people in my community either. I know that my job consists of, I might get hurt. I know that. I know it, but I also know that my job also says to preserve life. It doesn't say preserve life of whites. It doesn't say preserve life of good people. It says preserve life. That means if I can bring you in safely without killing you, that means I exhaust, because it used to be, and Kennedy, you know it, it used to be where you would have to show force continuum. Joe, I need you to chime in on this. What happened to force continuum? Which means that my force starts here and it elevates. Why are these officers going from, oh, I tried to tase them? Whatever. You're full of it. Did your partner try to tase them? Did you go hands on? Do you have pepper spray? Do you have an ass? Can you throw these things? Now, if you fighting for your life like the last video we gonna show you, that would have been a justifiable shooting. But y'all not even trying.
Right.
Yeah, they go straight to the gun, and there's no sanctity of life when you don't value black people as human beings.
That's right.
So that's the underlying thing, is just racism flat out. And it's so institutionalized, it's so ingrained, it's so cellular. You have a person who's supposed to represent the most powerful person in the world telling police officers to rough them up. So where is the compassion if you're automatically deemed a criminal? And you're right, you didn't see any tasers deployed. You saw nothing but guns pulled out on him. So their intent was to kill. It wasn't to, calm things down. It was to kill, period.
And until I see a video, since it ain't one, I don't believe he was tased. That's just how I feel. I'm sick of, we allowed them to write these narratives and we continue to believe it when we know that it's so much misjustice going on. We just as part of the problem as they are. We need to call them out. Officers, it's time to call their asses out. Excuse me. You got officers getting fired for speaking out or saying something wrong, but you got officers terrorizing the community and they ain't getting fired. That's some bull.
Right.
Think about since they didn't have body cams, if they didn't have video.
But
What,
and you
what,
called
what was
this
in?
out, but Nakia, you called this out in 2016 for people to not be in policing in communities where they either hold certain biases, prejudices, or fears. And this is what we're seeing over and over again. If you're afraid, you're going to go to that which is going to keep someone at the largest distance. If I'm not afraid of you, I'm going to be right next to you.
Right.
I might be able to engage in hand-to-hand combat. I might be close enough to tase, but instead, in my opinion, from a non-cop perspective, this is some cowardly racist moves. You're standing back, it's easy to shoot. It's hard to have a conversation. It's hard to have to go up fisticuff to fisticuff. It's hard to engage in any kind of human interaction with that which you're afraid of.
That's right.
Someone tells me right now that in America, that blacks and whites are equal, you're full of crap.
Thank you. And my other question was, why did he try to grab him and keep him out the car in the first place? You could have grabbed him a long time ago. That don't make no sense. You waited until he got in his car to grab him. You could have grabbed him a long time ago.
Right.
That's a problem for me. And it's kids in that car.
Yep.
So
they walked around the whole car.
Yeah, I wanted to discuss that because me and you talked about this. Me, you, and Kevin talked about this the other day. As officers, explain to me how you would have handled that had you all been there. And
all of us have been there. My crew, and I ain't trying to be funny. My crew was cold.
How would you
Number one, it would depend on if for just for giggles, he was fighting on the ground with us with a knife. Number one, he would have never gotten up. We would have made sure we controlled the situation. All officers know that we're supposed to take control of the situation as soon as we get there. We're supposed to control everything. And if he said, I'm going to my car to get a gun, you ain't getting to that car. You unarmed at this point. I done fought you fit. We gonna make sure you don't get to that car. So I don't care whether it's 2 officers on that door to make sure you can get in there and the other ones taking you down. If I had to pepper spray you, if I got to slam you, I can justify that then. Right. I'm daggone sure ain't gonna let you get to no car where you talking about it's a gun at. That don't make no sense. And then I shoot you in the back.
The 2 things that I noticed as someone who is not a police officer that I noticed that were wrong is that they let him get too far ahead of him. Then you have 3 officers. All 3 of them went the same direction. Instead of somebody go this way, others go this way, somebody try to block the door. Those are just things that I visually noticed and not even knowing a tactical way to handle it.
Well, unfortunately, they couldn't go the other way because their guns were drawn. And if the other officer would have went the other way, he would have been in the line of fire. So you got to pay attention to it. But if they would have tactically did it the right way, and don't tell me, I understand officers, all the officers, we do have a split second to make a decision. But some of the decisions y'all making to me is like when you were on your way there, it was like, yep, when I get here, it's almost like the first thing you think of, I'm gonna use my gun. If I'm afraid, I'm gonna use my gun. Not, I'm gonna try to de-escalate this thing. I'm gonna try my best not to preserve life. We got kids out here, it's women out here. I don't give a daggone who fighting. These are innocent children in this car. You have to take the accountability of all of that. I remember when I was in the academy, they asked me, if you went into a crowd of people and somebody started shooting, could you shoot into the crowd? And I was like, huh? He was like, you went to a crowd of people and somebody was shooting. Can you shoot into the crowd? The answer was no, because we were first supposed to preserve life. We're supposed to go get the force, but I can't just start shooting into the crowd.
I mean, to me, that makes logical sense.
I mean, they literally played Ring Around the Rosie with him.
Ring Around the Rosies around the car. And if you look at the way that they were holding their guns, they looked like somebody who was holding a gun for the first time ever and shooting it for the first time ever.
Yes.
Like the one officer even have his hand like this. What type of mess?
And he supposedly moved to Heidi. How far is this from you, Kenosha?
Kenosha is about an hour and a half away.
Oh, wow.
Stay out of Kenosha. I wouldn't go to Kenosha, nothing.
Because supposedly
students who are from the Kenosha region. It's just south of Milwaukee. Just east of Waukesha. A lot of the students who are going to be coming back from classes for this fall are from this area.
And then they say he moved to Kenosha for because it was supposed to be safer, not knowing that he was going to be shot and almost
That
killed
he
by
was,
the police.
but
So let me
it's
ask you,
sad. He's
Nakia.
running. He's running from his own people, and he runs into Kenosha to be safer, and he's gunned down by police. That's very interesting. It's so messed up that we got it on both sides.
Yeah. So the
Kenosha-
7 times in the back, he grabbed his shirt and shot him 7 times.
So I have a question about that. The 7 times. Didn't we learn one time about all shots are supposed to be in pairs? So if you're going to shoot once, you're supposed to shoot twice?
No, what they teach us in academy, tat. It's because just in case my first bullet missed, the second one, because I told you, lose a lot of your ability under stressful situation. Why he unloaded on that man, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know unless all mysteriously a gun may come up in the daggone car, but it ain't no video there. Now I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm just gonna sit it there. I am employing some of us black law enforcement officers, some of the black training officers. Y'all, listen here. We need to start writing some kind of training for some of these officers, because the ones, to me, if you a punk, you don't have no business being in that uniform. If you don't feel like you can survive without your weapon on your side, you don't have no business in that uniform, period. If you're scared of the way somebody look or the way they sound, or because you're in a certain neighborhood, if you wouldn't ride through the neighborhood you patrol at night and by yourself and not be fearful or jumpy, you don't need to be in that uniform and policing your community. Go into your community where you live at. Police that community. At least you respect the people out there.
Right. Where you think safe, where you feel comfortable, where you think that you can't get shot, but you could, where you think that nobody would stab you, it could happen. You
That's
know,
right.
go be over there where you think you feel safe, and you keep your hand off your gun and then end up stabbed or shot. And I never thought that would happen to me over here.
And I think I want to go back also to the kids. First of all, real quick, I saw a former student, Jose Medina, who wrote on here just recently, right closer to Kenosha. So Jose, please be safe. You know.
Please, Jose, listen to me, baby. Listen to what I'm telling you, please, baby. Pulled over by the police, always keep your hands where they can see it. Even if they're jerks to you, just be as polite, bite your tongue. We want you to make it home. If something goes wrong, you contact us. We'll help you deal with it. But please just be as respectful and keep your hands, be as compliant. I don't care what they do. Keep yourself safe. That's what we care about right now. It's sad for me to say that you gotta be, if you know some injustice has happened to you, you gotta comply with it. But at this point, it's your life or death.
It's true. And then also not thinking about, one, thinking about the children's safety in the car, but 2, the trauma that those children, so they end up non-physically scathed. The mental trauma, they saw their father, who probably represented a hero to them, shot down. And we've talked on this show in the last few weeks about the kind of heroification of cops and how kids especially grow up, right? Like police, they're the good, they're the heroes. You wonder why you have so many people looking at police as the enemy or as the danger or that which should be feared or cautioned from. It's this. Those 3 children will forever remember the police shot their father. They will forever remember, in the back.
Right.
In front of them.
The fault that their father is partially paralyzed.
A foot away from them.
A foot away from them.
Or less.
A foot.
And then you wonder why you have a George Floyd who was petrified.
To get in the car.
To
begging them.
And be handcuffed.
And then
to get in the car. Petrified.
Something that people forget about law enforcement too was they were actively, the FBI has already, provided evidence that a lot of them are, white supremacists, but also think back in the day, like to civil rights era and stuff like that, how they would allow the police would allow the Klan to come in and take people from jail so they could be hung. And Martin Luther King, Dr. Reverend Moss, told a story about one night Martin Luther King's life was saved because these officers kind of were decent officers and they let him leave because they knew that the Klan was coming for him. So they was able to escape that night, and Otis Moss was with him. But think about all the other times in which they let, they let the Klan come in. Also, police officers let soldiers, like black soldiers who return home from war, especially if they was in a uniform, be killed.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big thing too, that you couldn't be caught in your military uniform, and the police allowed that. So we try to paint them as this perfect, entity, but history has always shown their violent nature towards black people.
That's right. And then it's so funny. With black law enforcement, black military, we are the ones on the front line. We are the ones, I'm not being funny. So some of the community, y'all need to, if you have some black good officers in your community, y'all support them. Because we're the ones that, trust me, if we wasn't around, it'd be a whole bunch more killing going on. I can promise you that. So you better believe what I'm telling you. But we on the front line, but we get treated like crap. And the sad thing, we get ostracized inside our departments by a lot of white officers that don't like us, and they feel like, why are you treating them so nice? Or why you're not treating them? Because those are our people, and we know how to deal with it. We understand it. No, if you're a pedophile or rape, yeah, you're going to jail. But we also know that young people make mistakes, and we don't want to give them your record. We want them to get a second chance. So I'm sick of people coming down on black law enforcement and black military too. They were on the front line, and y'all won't even give these people a break. Why is the veterans out there homeless? Not being funny, everybody that served in this United States government, whatever war, they should have a free house, free health insurance. This is some bull. I just feel some kind of way. It just irritates me. Then black and law enforcement get it from both sides. The black community hate them. They call them Uncle Toms. But y'all don't know what happens behind enemy lines. The stuff that we do for y'all. The way we speak up for y'all. Y'all have no idea.
Yeah.
You look at some problem just like everybody else.
Yeah, look at the previous show. What was that, 2 weeks ago? You and LaRonda talked about that. People don't realize all of the behind the scenes things. You talking about you want the black officers to take off the uniform and you being disrespectful by continuing, but you don't realize what they're doing behind the closed doors to make progress. It didn't just happen overnight. Certain progresses that have happened didn't happen overnight. Things have to happen with time and change. And the only way you can do it is where? On the inside.
Go ahead, baby.
And I was going to say, so telling you to take off your uniform, we don't just walk off our jobs. We have pressure things in place. So it's easy to tell you to say to do that, but we wouldn't do that. So why would we expect you to? But one of the things that just stuck out to me, what you said was the white officer said, why don't you treat them different?
Why don't you? I've heard, why you treat them, why you being so nice to them? Bro, when I look into that black man's face, I see my son. When I look into that black man's face, I see my husband. When I look into that black man's face, I see my brother. What the hell do you mean, why don't I treat them different? Why don't you take your ass somewhere else? Because you don't belong here.
Humanity. They have no humanity for us.
Right.
We are not human. They're automatically saying they should be treated different just because they're black.
The other thing that's upsetting me with this whole Jacob Blake situation, because I'm gonna have to just stay out of the feed, because it aggravates the crap out of me, and they're arguing with everybody. But this one lady, I was going back and forth with her, and she talking about the thing of his past, this whole rape thing and the domestic. I'm like, I don't know nothing about that, and I don't know if that to be true. What I do know is what I'm seeing, and that they didn't have a right to shoot him. And she's like, well, don't you believe in karma? And I was like,
karma, then I would have been like, he without sin cast the first stone. Have you ever done anything in your life? Because some people, it could be the smallest thing. They could think you are a terrible person. That man did not deserve a death sentence. I'm not here to judge him. That's what a judge does, and that's what God does. But what I'm telling you, the way he was killed was wrong. It was out of line, and she need to sit down somewhere and be humble.
Sit down.
Stop bringing that man's past up, because if it was a justifiable shooting, why are y'all bringing his past up? It wouldn't matter what it was. He could have been an honor student, and if it was a good shoot, it was a good shoot. So I'm just telling you, all y'all trying to do is camouflage this mess to make it look a certain way, and enough is enough.
Yeah.
I'm calling out every law enforcement officer. If you see somebody in your department being disrespectful or degrading a woman, I don't care what. First of all, if they black, Hispanic, white, because and I've told you, I've seen white people be profiled before too.
Yep.
Y'all need to shut it down. Otherwise, you just as bad as the person who's wearing that damn uniform next to you.
That's right.
Enough is enough.
And Nakia, you talked a lot about like community engaged policing. We've talked even on the show about really that starting within predominantly Black communities, that wasn't like part of the kind of rise of the police force as we understand it. And somebody had asked on here, I think actually it was Jose, was asking, do you think that engagement should actually start back in the community, the academy, not just once you've been assigned into a location, but maybe part of the training is to actually go out and be around people that are different than you. Learn to actually have human engagement with people that are different than you when you're learning and you're training.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I think any new officer should be put into community-oriented policing for at least 2 years, so that people can know them. So when I see you, I know exactly who you are. And then if you do that and you get a good training officer and officers is watching, you can tell whether they're able to even adapt to. How can you do community-oriented policing if you don't understand the orientation of the community? That means in order to be effective community-oriented policing, you have to understand the community.
The community that you're in, that you're servicing. You can't be going in there thinking you know one thing and don't have an understanding. It's like you gave an example, this is a while back, about how we as African Americans, we use our hands all the time. We're talking. And you might take that, if you're not used to being around African Americans, you might take that as being aggressive. And so if you think that's me being aggressive towards you, you're going to treat me a certain way based off of your perception of what you think. But if you're used to being around African American people and you're in the community and you've seen, we just talk with our hands. We very, this how we do. I'm not trying to get in your face. I'm not trying to start nothing. I just talk with my hands. Otherwise,
Let me tell y'all something that's so
like this.
I want to tell you something that's so interesting.
Yeah.
I know in a lot of very nice neighborhoods, you can't even cuss at the citizens.
You can't
do what? You can't curse at the citizens. And police officers cannot curse at their citizens. No matter what they do, they say that you have to maintain a level of professionalism or you will get written up. This is how real this is. But you have other communities where officers can beat you half to death and stay on the job. I'm so confused. I'm just really confused here.
I agree.
And a lot of this goes, even Sean Kennedy brought up about white officers being disconnected from the Black community. And back to what you're talking about with the academy and stuff, one of the things when I'm teaching about cultural competency and diversity, if you, and we know that when people have interactional diversity, so I'm not talking about the demographics, I'm not talking about the content, I'm talking about interactions, which is the most meaningful form of diversity, right? And I don't mean diversity of thought, I mean diversity of humans.
Right.
So if I find out, I mean, we've all had that time where we've had a conversation with someone who thinks we like them, we're vibing with them, whether friendship, right, coworker. The moment you find out that they hold a belief that is in opposition to a belief of yours, or see the world in some way that's different than yours, we're faced with a decision. And we're faced with the decision to either A, cut that like budding relationship off, like, you know what, that's too much. We all have that limit. Or we have to figure out, Jocelyn thinks differently than me on this, but I really like Jocelyn. How do I make sense of this? Well, I asked Jocelyn questions. Jocelyn asked me questions. And we either find out we can't talk about it, or I end up trying to understand Jocelyn's perspective because, and it's called cognitive development, we have to try to understand our counterparts in order to make sense of why they hold different beliefs than us. And this is the type of interactional diversity we need to be seeing within our police training. Learn to get out there and have conversations and find out that maybe the things you were taught, maybe the messages you've been receiving in the media, maybe they're wrong.
Because they can be wrong. I wanted to, because I want to show this video, this last video, this Rachel's video, but I want to show the last video before we get off. But I do want to say something to the Black law enforcement officers. Y'all, please take them tests. Get up there and get y'all rank, y'all, and make a difference in that department. Take them tests, y'all. Please, we need y'all. We need y'all. Y'all know y'all sister in blue love y'all so much. Take some tests, y'all, so y'all can make some difference and make some positive changes in that department. Some of y'all, I need some of y'all to become chiefs, and some of y'all to go ahead and start running for mayor and count. I'm very serious. Some of y'all that have retired that's good law enforcement officers. Who would understand the police better than an ex-good law enforcement officer? We understand what it's like to have to go through what we go through, how to go through split-second decisions. We understand that every shooting is not justifiable and some are justifiable. We understand that deadly force is, unfortunately, it is necessary sometimes. We understand that Black officers, we understand what Black on Black crime. Stop throwing it in our face. We understand that. We know that some of us have lived through that. Some of us have lost friends. I've lost friends to Black on Black crime. So we understand. So stop talking about that. We understand that. Y'all get in there and do those tests. When I tell y'all, I'm praying for y'all. I'm praying for peace for y'all. I'm praying for protection over y'all families, y'all, because it's starting to get really nasty. I'm really praying for y'all, and y'all are always in my prayers. The good law enforcement officers, I'm saying Black first because I want to talk to my people. It's not that I'm being prejudiced or racist. I pray for white officers as well, Hispanic. Well, Hispanics to me is Blacks too. Listen, they got melanin in their skin. But I'm not disregarding any white officers. I pray for their safety as well. But I'm talking about my people right now, because I know they hurting. I couldn't imagine being a law enforcement officer right now, because they're getting it from both sides. And I just pray for y'all, a sense of peace for y'all. I pray, Lord, right now in the name of Jesus, God, that he covers all of y'all with his blood. Whatever you believe in, whatever you call God for your own understanding, I pray that he blesses y'all when y'all going in and coming out, y'all. I pray that he regulates y'all mind. He gives you a peace that withstands all understanding, y'all. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. Lastly, 2020, y'all, vote. You better vote like your life depending on it. And I'm done here.
Sorry, I was just checking because I got a tweet about a possible officer-involved shooting of a Black man in Minnesota tonight. So they're not sure just yet. There are some reports that it was a self-inflicted gunshot, but officers were on the scene at the time of the shooting. So it'll be interesting to see, get those details, and hopefully Minnesota doesn't burn again. They're still recovering.
Keep us posted.
Please do. Y'all want to say something before I show this video? Did you send the video to me, Jay?
To the email, yes.
All right.
I just want to say thank you for everybody that joins us tonight. I know we have a lot of guests from other groups, so we just want to thank you for joining us and hope that you'll tune in every Wednesday with us here at 8 o'clock. Where we'll talk about these type of topics and other topics of social injustice that we are experiencing every single day. And unfortunately, the hashtags continue. So that's all I want to say, and hope to see you guys next week.
I'll say, you want to go, Heidi? Go ahead, Heidi.
Go ahead. I usually jump in anyway, so it's your
okay. So just want to give a shout out to the NBA and so the Minnesota Milwaukee Bucks opted not to play their playoff game today. And also Milwaukee Brewers, the MLB team, decided not to play their game as well today. And I'm seeing some WNBA teams, I think, as well, who might not play today as well in protest and solidarity with these players, because, you know, these players live in these cities, you know, during the season and stuff like that. And this affects us all. This affects us as Black men. And those basketball players know if they didn't play basketball, and sometimes they have been targets of police and police brutality, it still affects them when they take that uniform off. You know, they just have a couple $1 million and stuff. So just a shout out to all the athletes that are supporting us and using their platform to elevate those voices as well, because we get drowned out and not listened to. So thank you to them for doing that too.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with that. I was super pleased and proud of the Milwaukee Bucks. When I'm in Wisconsin, I'm still a Cleveland girl at heart, and regularly still have to give a shout out to Cavs and the Cleveland baseball team. I won't call them the I word, but you know. But I was really proud to hear that. And Please, anybody who's watching that's even in those areas right now, be safe. Do not, keep lifting your voice. I absolutely 100% support people being out there and protesting and demonstrating, but you also have a lot of enemies out there and they're shooting down people. And when they did the headline today that said 2 shot, 1 injured, what they failed to mention was that it was an alt-right young white man killer who came with an AR to monitor businesses. So please do be careful. People are looking for any reason right now. Similarly, go out there. I'm going to talk to my lighter melanin friends again for a second. Go out there and educate yourself. Take the risk, right? If you don't know, go and be around people that are different than you, look different than you. Challenge whatever messages you're hearing in your home or around your family members. Challenge those messages. Dare to find out that maybe what the political rhetoric or the media rhetoric you're hearing isn't accurate, and maybe be a part of actually making that change. And again, like Nakia was echoing, stop asking everybody of color to, what can I do? You know what, you're a pretty smart person, I'm guessing, you're watching the show, and you're gonna go out there and figure it out and fight and right people vote. Our lives quite literally depend on it right now. And if you're not seeing, people are like, oh, well, that's not my community. Guess what? It is your community. And there's a problem that you don't see in the community.
We just got to hope that these protests don't affect, Democratic votes as well, because, people are spinning this as these are Democratic, cities doing this, and the Democrats would allow the rest of the world to be like this too. So we have to make sure and I'm sorry, Heidi, I mean, cut you off. We also have to make sure we change the narrative as well, how media spins it. And 85% of newsrooms and TV stations have white male news directors who are masters at skewing the narrative. So we have to make sure we take back the narrative as well, to make sure that this isn't something that the racist national convention can run on and get more votes, because people are scared.
One thing y'all can say about the Democrats, y'all want to blame it on Democrats, whatever, Democrats for running around protesting or whatever, what else are they supposed to do?
Yeah.
Because the behavior that some of y'all have had, I'm surprised they're not doing something worse. I'm telling y'all, please, y'all peacefully.
Because we don't know about it.
Yes, peacefully protest, y'all. Get out there, let your voices be heard, but please do it peacefully. And remember, there are certain laws, so just abide by them. Also remember, if you are arrested and convicted of a felony, they will take away your right to vote. Pay attention. Don't get caught up. Stay woke. Don't get caught up in the setup. All right, y'all. I'm about to show this video. This was deep.
This is a little comical, but yet
it makes you mad.
Still, in this video, you see, and before we watch it, notice how the woman that is videotaping, what she's nervous about. And when you see our tapes, when we videotape somebody, you hear us in panic, in horror, in terror. We are afraid the person we are videotaping is going to be killed. Listen to how she's talking and what it is exactly she's nervous might happen.
I'm gonna full screen this one for y'all.
Oh, the other one was better quality.
That was the one you sent.
Yeah, I sent you 2 of them. The second one was a little bit better quality, but this can still be seen.
You'll get the gist of it.
Oh, Jerry.
Jerry, stop it.
Jerry.
As y'all notice, he grabbed her gun.
Hurt, Jerry. Stop. You're gonna get a charge, Jerry. Stop it. Stop.
You probably know him too.
Don't make a difference. That don't make a difference.
Right.
Charge, Jerry.
Y'all gotta watch. This is.
Oh, Jerry. So stupid. Jerry.
Jerry, they're gonna Jerry.
Just showed them cakes.
Now
Jerry,
y'all all know.
Jerry, don't do
This
it.
would not be the same story. if
No, it would not if he was
any other
African
member of our
American.
body.
No, he would not. That would have went so
Look,
sideways.
he
Y'all
took the
know.
card. He is gone. He is gone.
But did y'all see how Jerry emerged from the ashes and came up with their baton and beat them?
Yes.
Yes,
He beat their butt.
he
Both
beat
of
them,
them.
and got in the car and said goodbye. But
Yes.
did you hear how calm the woman that was videotaping Jerry? She was only worried about him catching a charge,
That
not him
was
getting
it.
shot,
Not
not
him
getting
getting
killed.
shot. But we all know that if his color had been if his skin had been a little darker, we all would have been saying something different. You all, we appreciate
called our
you for tuning
privilege.
in. We will be back next Wednesday. Hopefully, no more hashtags. What I want to say is, Black men and Black women are so much more than hashtags. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Take a look around. Can you see it now? Don't be colorblind. Cause when they're killing mine, they'll try to justify. Oh, each and every time. Playing in the park. Taking your jog. Sitting on the couch.